Let's bring in one of Chairman Wontumi's lawyers, Enoch Afoakwa, for more on this developing story. You're welcome to the ChannelOne newsroom, sir. All right, let's talk about the Deputy Attorney General. He has accused Wontumi of causing financial loss to the state and money laundering. Is Chairman Wontumi aware of these investigations, and has he commented of his involvement or otherwise?
Thank you very much. I believe that, and let me say a very good evening to your cherished viewers and your humble self. I don't think you have cited a charge sheet where Chairman Wontumi has been charged and put before any court of competent jurisdiction in this republic. So until a suspect turns into an accused person, of which the prosecution professed charges against the accused person, you cannot say that he has been charged, or he's standing trial, or he's been convicted, or no, you can't say any of these things. It's an ongoing investigation of which he's assessing an investigation. Sometime last week, he was invited by the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service to come and assist in some investigations they are conducting. And he wasn't feeling well. He notified them, he made them aware of his current ailment, and that gave a tentative date of which he would be willing and he would be able to visit their office and assist them in that investigation. So that happened on the 26th of May 2025.
Right.
By midday, he was with the police CID and we were all there with him. He was interrogated, he was cautioned on some allegations, and finally his caution statements were taken and granted police inquiry bail to reappear on the 27th of May 2025 yeah. at 3 p.m., of which he diligently, as a law-abiding citizen, performed that arrangement. He did his bit. He visited the CID on 27th. He had an interaction with them. Few minutes, 5-10 minutes, he was released to go back home. On his way home, he was accosted by some men believing to be officials of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, of which he has been with them since Tuesday. Yeah. And we all are aware that there is a caveat as to how long an investigative body like the Economic and Organized Crime Office, the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service, and all other state institutions with the powers of the police, that's the powers of arrest, how long they can hold a suspect. How long they can hold a suspect as far as investigations are concerned, not to surpass the constitutionally mandated threshold of 48 hours. Right. Mr. Bernard has been in the custody of EOCO since Tuesday and had surpassed the 48-hour threshold. He's not been put before any court of competent jurisdiction. What is happening in this republic?
Following today's actions, will he spend another night in jail?
Absolutely, we don't know his whereabouts. All that we know is that Mr. Bernard is with the Economic and Organized Crimes Office.
Have you been in contact with with Chairman Wontumi?
he's with EOCO. As you are all aware, he's with EOCO. You saw the minority members of parliament protesting on the streets.
Yes.
Just directly opposite the entrance, the main entrance of the Economic and Organized Crimes Office this afternoon.
Right. How does the legal team plan to defend him? Because he has, he's facing multiple investigations simultaneously.
Certainly, as law-abiding citizen, we are building a democracy, we have a state, and the state is governed by rules and regulations. Right. Of which, if you reasonably suspect that crime has been committed, or you reasonably suspect that crime is about to be committed, or you reasonably suspect that the person has conducted himself in a way, you take legal and appropriate steps in questioning him, in gathering your evidence, in confronting him with it. When you are satisfied that whatever that you have is capable of securing a conviction in court, because the burden of prosecution lies on the burden of proof lies on the prosecution to prove the guilt of the accused beyond all reasonable doubt. Right. So the burden is on the state actors to be able to gather enough evidence to be able to sustain the various allegations that they are investigating this nobleman of. And I believe that they should resort to due process and stop the unnecessary drama and politicking. Because this man turned himself in voluntarily. Right. He was never arrested and brought before the police CID. He drove in himself. He was not driven by a driver. He drove in personally. had an interaction with the police CID, would it have been different that the Economic and Organized Crimes Office would have served similar notice to him that right after your interaction with the police CID, if you are allowed to go, we also would like to have some interaction with you because we are also investigating some levels of allegations of which you are involved. But they decided to use the full bruise coercive power of the state. While he was driving some vehicles suspected to belonging to the Economic and Organized Crimes Office, one of the institutions of the national security architecture, accosted him, surrounded him, and forcefully took him out with guns, assault rifles, as if they are going to peacekeeping mission at the Darfur region in Sudan.
Have you been able to see him today, and how is he coping, and how's his health?
I've not seen him, but like any other person, he will be worried because there is a person who is not too well. On Tuesday, as interrogations were ongoing, his conditions was deteriorating, and they all saw it. When the attention was drawn, he was referred to the medics of the national security, and they kept him. I believe they are professionals because I've handled several clients of which they take good care of them when they are in their custody and those things. But you see, you know the condition of this person. So, if you've had an opportunity of engaging him, can't you release him on even a self-recognizance bill, knowing very well the standing of this same gentleman in the republic, original chairman of the largest opposition party in this republic, somebody whose assets are known in this republic, somebody just with the press of a button, you can know his whereabouts, somebody who willingly, voluntarily turned himself in at the police CID to be investigated. And looking at this drama, looking at what is going on as far as his arrest, his detention is concerned, with these human rights violations, breaches of due process, and a whole lot of things. Has
the legal team, received any explanation for the high bail amount, or is it related to the sum involved in the alleged case against him?
You see, it's an ongoing investigation, like you rightly said that the Deputy Attorney General has signaled to the public through his Facebook profile as to some suspected allegations, or if it is true that they are investigating him upon. The overarching goal is that the state will want to go into these matters. And you need a person to cooperate, to be able to get somewhere. In violation of his human right, will the person, under these circumstances, open up to you to be able to ensure that you arrive at the conclusions that you want to get to?
What is currently preventing your client from meeting his bail conditions? Is it from him shortcomings, or do you think EOCO is trying to pose obstacles?
You see, when you read section 96.3 of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act, it talks about conditions of bail. That the conditions of bail should not be excessive or harsh, in order to serve as a punishment to the accused person or to the suspect that law enforcement agencies may be holding. So if you are raising a higher bail condition, then invariably or impliedly, you are telling the person that we are not allowing you to go, because you know inwardly that the person will be unable to meet those demands. And as far as the courts are concerned, even the courts are minded, judicial officers are minded in using bail conditions as a form of punishment, because the same act prescribes that. So even the courts are careful as far as the determination of conditions of bails are concerned. They will not prescribe excessive or harsh bail conditions in order that accused persons or suspects in that magnitude will be unable to meet those conditions and will be in detention forever.
But why hasn't the legal team applied to the High Court to vary the bail conditions?
We will not put all our cats out.
Okay.
Every lawyer has a theory of his case. We have a theory. We have our strategy. So as the national security they have. But unfortunately, their strategy has led to a human rights violation, a breach of the Article 40, the breach of the 48-hour rule, of which well-meaning Ghanaians, well-meaning citizens like your type, should be speaking against the unlawful detention, it makes the detention unlawful.
Is the chairman aware of the protest by the minority this afternoon? And if he is, what was his reaction?
Where he is, how would he be aware? He doesn't have his phone with him. He doesn't have a television. He doesn't have a radio. How would he be aware of the ongoing impasse on the streets of the Republic of Ghana? Once you are restricted, you are in detention, everything, you don't have luxury of time. Everything of yours is taken away from you. Basically, your freedom is curtailed. You have absolutely nothing to rely on as far as what is happening beyond the four corners of where you are.
Counsel, do you expect the bail conditions to be met by tomorrow?
It is arbitrary, it is harsh, and it's excessive.
Finally, how is Chairman Wontumi's immediate family coping with this situation?
I believe you are a mother. If not a mother, a family person. You belong to a family. If you are in this situation, how would your family feel? Would they be happy seeing that their princess, they have trained, they have schooled the eye of the family in these circumstances where they cannot have an eye-to-eye with, where they cannot share thoughts with, where they cannot speak to? His whereabouts unknown. The spectacle surrounding, the drama surrounding it is a whole issue that affects family life. Right. It affects societal life. Right. And we should be forewarned that persons that have studied conflict around the world, there is a theory in conflict studies, that frustration aggression theory, that frustration breeds aggression. So if you can see members of parliament sitting on the streets of the Republic of Ghana, right, then it tells you how frustrated they are. If members of parliament are frustrated in this magnitude to sit on the streets of Accra in protest of an unlawful detention of a member of the Ghanaian society, then it tells you how the generality, the general public in totality are disgusted. They are. Let me even choose my words carefully.
We thank you for your time. Really appreciate the fact that you came here to us on the ChannelOne newsroom. Thank you so much.
I'm extremely grateful. Right. But we pray that law enforcement agencies should be minded of due process, and they should be forewarned that Justice Afre in the Republic versus Ibrahim Adams cautioned them that superior audits cannot suffice as a defense to criminal liability.
Thank you so
Once
much.
they take superior audits and they commit various crimes, they may be held accountable for the crimes that they have committed against humanity.
Thank you so much, lawyer. So what's next for the minority?